My name is Evelyn Harper, and I'm 67 years old. Until last year, I was just an ordinary grandma living in a small, cozy house in suburban Ohio. Every morning, I'd wake up at dawn, brew coffee in my chipped blue mug, and sit on my porch swing, watching the neighborhood kids race their bikes down Maple Street. My life was simple, stitched together with routines that kept me grounded, tending to my rose garden, baking snickerdoodles for the church potluck, and flipping through old photo albums of my late husband, Tom, and our daughter, Sarah. For 40 years, I poured my heart into raising Sarah, working double shifts at the diner, stitching prom dresses by hand, and saving every penny so she could go to college and build a life bigger than mine. When Sarah married Ryan, a slick-talking real estate agent with a smile that never reached his eyes, I bit my tongue and welcomed him. Every Sunday, I'd set the table with my best china, smile through his backhanded compliments, and pretend I didn't notice how he treated my home like a showroom. I thought after Tom passed, Sarah and I would lean on each other, grow closer. God, was I wrong. Instead, Sarah started pulling away. Her visits grew shorter, her texts curt, her excuses flimsier. "We're busy, Mom," she'd say, or "Ryan's got a big deal closing." The worst came on a chilly November evening. I'd spent all day making Sarah's favorite, homemade lasagna with extra ricotta, the kind she used to beg for as a kid. I'd even set out the embroidered table runner I made when she was in high school, hoping it'd spark some warmth. When they arrived, Ryan barely looked up from his phone, plopping into Tom's old recliner like he owned it. Sarah, in the sweater I'd knitted her last Christmas, looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. "Mom, we need to talk," she said, her voice clipped, like she was reading a script. Ryan kept scrolling, smirking. "Ryan and I have been thinking. This house is too much for you to handle alone. It's old, it needs repairs, and honestly, you're not getting any younger." My stomach dropped. This was the house where Sarah learned to walk, where we carved pumpkins every Halloween, where Tom and I danced to Sinatra in the living room. "We found a great assisted living place," she went on, sliding a glossy brochure across the table. "It's got a pool, Mom. And activities. You'll love it." Ryan finally looked up, his grin sharp. "It's for the best, Evelyn. Sarah and I need a bigger place for when we start a family. This house is perfect for us." I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. My own daughter, the girl I'd sacrificed everything for, was trying to shove me out of my home to hand it over to this man. "Sarah," I whispered, my voice shaking, "this is our home. Our memories are here." She didn't meet my eyes. "Memories aren't walls, Mom. You'll be happier there. Safer." Ryan nodded, already eyeing the living room like he was measuring it for new furniture. I begged for time to think, but Sarah just said, "It's already decided. We're listing the house next week." They left without touching the lasagna, the table runner crumpled, my heart in pieces. That night, I sat in the dark, staring at photos of Sarah as a little girl, her gap-toothed smile, her tiny hand in mine. How had it come to this? The next weeks were a blur of humiliation. Ryan brought a realtor to assess the house, a guy in a cheap suit who poked at my walls and muttered about outdated fixtures. Sarah trailed behind, nodding like she was selling a stranger's property. "The carpet's gotta go," the realtor said. "And this kitchen? Total gut job." Those were the cabinets Tom built himself, sanding each one late into the night while Sarah did her homework at the table. To them, it was just dated. The final blow came when Sarah showed up with boxes. "We'll help you pack," she said, her voice flat. She started tossing my things, Tom's old records, Sarah's childhood drawings, into boxes like they were junk. When she found my jewelry box, with my wedding band and the pearl necklace Tom gave me for our 25th anniversary, she said, "These'll be safer with us. You don't want them getting lost at the facility." I grabbed her wrist, pleading, "Those are mine, Sarah." She pulled away, her eyes cold. "Mom, you're overreacting. This proves you can't handle things anymore." I was alone, betrayed by the daughter I'd raised, my home slipping through my fingers. I thought about giving up, signing their papers, fading into that assisted living place with its fake smiles and bingo nights. But something in me, call it stubbornness, call it Tom's voice in my head, refused to break. One evening, clearing out Tom's old desk to downsize, I found a locked metal box tucked behind a stack of bills. My hands shook as I pried it open with a paperclip. Inside was a folder labeled, "For Evelyn." It was Tom's handwriting, steady and familiar. My heart raced as I opened it. There was a will, dated a year before Tom's death, and it changed everything. Tom hadn't just been the quiet factory worker I thought. He'd been investing for decades. Stocks, bonds, a rental property in Columbus, even a stake in the local hardware store chain where Ryan worked. The numbers were staggering. Millions. And it was all in my name. Sarah would only inherit a small trust if she cared for me in my old age. There was more. Tom owned the condo complex where Sarah and Ryan lived. Their rent was going into an account I didn't even know existed. I was rich, and they had no idea. A letter from Tom was tucked in the back. "My dearest Evie," it read. "I kept this quiet to protect you. I never trusted Ryan. He's got a greedy streak a mile wide. If Sarah honors you, she'll be fine. If not, you have the power to stand tall. Use it wisely, not to hurt, but to protect. I love you always." Tears streamed down my face. Tom had seen through Ryan from the start, and he'd armed me for this fight. The next morning, Ryan and Sarah showed up with movers, expecting to find me defeated. Instead, I was in my rocking chair, sipping coffee, the folder on my lap. "Mom, let's go," Sarah said, impatient. "The movers are on a schedule." "I'm not going anywhere," I said, calm as a summer lake. Ryan laughed, that smug chuckle I hated. "Evelyn, don't make this harder than it needs to be." I looked him dead in the eyes. "Funny, Ryan. I was about to say the same to you." I handed them a copy of the condo deed. "Did you know your rent's been going to me? Because I own your building." Sarah's jaw dropped. Ryan's face went white. "That's impossible," he stammered. "You're on Social Security." I smiled. "Tom was smarter than you thought. And so am I." Sarah grabbed the deed, her hands trembling. "Mom, why didn't you tell us?" "I didn't know until yesterday. But it turns out this house is the least of what I own. And you," I looked at Ryan, "have 30 days to find a new place. I'm evicting you." Ryan exploded. "You can't do this. We'll sue." "Go ahead," I said. "I own enough of your company to make your boss very interested in this conversation." Sarah started crying, but I wasn't done. "You called me a burden, Sarah. You packed my life into boxes. You took my jewelry. And for what? So he could play king in my house." "Mom, I'm so sorry," Sarah sobbed. "It was Ryan's idea. He said you were too old to live alone, that you were forgetting things." "Like what?" I snapped. "Like the time I forgot to turn off the stove? That never happened." He lied, and you believed him. Ryan tried one last move. "Evelyn, Sarah's pregnant. You gonna kick out your grandkid?" My heart stopped. Pregnant. And they hadn't told me. "Is it true?" I asked Sarah. She nodded, tears streaming. "I wanted to tell you differently, Mom. I swear." I wanted to melt, to hug her, but Tom's words echoed, "Protect, don't hurt." "Congratulations," I said, my voice steady. "But that doesn't erase what you did. You have 30 days." The movers left. Ryan stormed out, muttering threats. Sarah stayed, begging to stay the night. I let her, but I made it clear. Trust had to be earned. The trial came a month later. Ryan sued for custody of the unborn baby, claiming I'd brainwashed Sarah. In court, my lawyer laid out everything. Ryan's texts berating Sarah, his threats to have me declared incompetent, neighbors' statements about his yelling. The judge, a woman named Clara Thompson, listened intently. Then she paused, staring at me. "Mrs. Harper, Did you volunteer at the women's shelter on Elm Street 20 years ago? I blinked. Yes, ma'am. She smiled. I was one of the girls you helped. You gave me a coat and a hot meal when I had nothing. You told me I could be anything. I never forgot you. The courtroom went silent. Sarah gasped. Ryan looked like he'd been slapped. Your Honor, Ryan's lawyer jumped in. This is a conflict of interest. No, Judge Thompson said sharply. It's a reminder of character. And Mrs. Harper's character is impeccable. She ruled against Ryan, granting Sarah full custody and a restraining order. He was done. A year later, I held my grandson, Lucas, in my arms, rocking him in the same chair where I'd faced down Ryan. Sarah had moved back home, gone back to school, and started counseling to heal from Ryan's control. I used Tom's money to start a foundation for women facing elder abuse, helping dozens reclaim their lives. One evening, as Sarah and I watched Lucas giggle in the rose garden, she asked, Mom, have you forgiven me? I looked at her, my strong, broken, healing daughter. I have, Sarah. But more importantly, you're forgiving yourself. She squeezed my hand, and we sat in peace, the roses blooming brighter than ever. In the end, I didn't just keep my house. I reclaimed my strength, my daughter, and my purpose. Tom's gift wasn't just money, it was the power to stand tall. And I'd never let anyone take that away again.